Shapes are one of those tools in CapCut that look simple at first glance. Rectangles, circles, lines, nothing exciting. But once you understand how they actually work, they become the foundation for motion backgrounds, UI elements, highlights, lower thirds, even full motion graphics. The creators who look advanced aren't using secret effects. They're using basic tools properly. In this video, I'm not just showing you what shapes are, I'm building real examples with them. A moving background, a clean UI pop-up, a root animation, a working clock, proper motion graphics. By the end, you won't see shapes as decorations anymore. You'll see them as structure. And once you start thinking like that, your edits instantly feel more intentional. I'm Dina, and I'm here to help you master CapCut the easy way. Let's jump into it. You'll find shapes inside stickers, and when you open it, you'll see a mix of basic geometric forms: rectangles, circles, triangles, lines, arrows, and a custom drawing tool. At first glance, they look very simple, and they are, but that's the point. Every standard shape follows the same core idea. It has an inside, which you control with fill. It has an outline, which you control with stroke, and it behaves like any other layer in your timeline. The last part is important. Shapes are not effects. They are not presets. They are layers. You can resize them, rotate them, lower their opacity, blur them, stack them, animate them, keyframe them, combine them with text, or use them to mask and reveal other elements. The line and arrow options add direction. They are useful when you want to guide attention or create movement in a frame. The rectangle is perfect for panels and backgrounds. Circles work well for highlights and emphasis. And the custom shape tool lets you draw something more organic if you don't want clean geometry. You also have control over how clean or textured they feel. You can keep outlines solid, switch them to dashed or dotted, soften corners, or remove the fill completely and work with just a stroke. But don't worry about mastering every setting right now. In this section, I just want you to understand what shapes are capable of. Because once you see them as flexible design elements rather than simple graphics, the practical examples we're about to build will make a lot more sense. Let's start with the first one. Let's start with motion backgrounds. Instead of having a plain static screen, we're going to create a background that moves slightly. It adds depth and makes your videos feel more dynamic without distracting from your main content. Once you understand the concept, you can experiment and build your own variations. Let's jump into CapCut. I'm starting with a blank section on the timeline, no footage underneath, and this will be our base. And instead of relying on one single full screen shape, we're going to create depth and layering multiple shapes together. So first add a rectangle and stretch it so it fills the entire frame. Just like that. This will act as your foundation. Keep the color neutral since we're building on top of it, so white works perfectly here. Now duplicate that layer. You can either hold Option and drag it upward or press Command-C and Command-V. On the duplicated layer, switch from a solid fill to a soft gradient. So choose two tones that sit close to each other rather than high contrast. The goal here is atmosphere, not distraction. If you want to remove a gradient point, because as you can see there are 3 of them here, so to remove one, simply right click on it and select delete. And if you need to add one back, just click on the gradient bar and a new point will appear automatically, ready for you to adjust the color. Once your gradient is set, increase the scale slightly so it extends past the edges of the frame. Perfect. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Lower the opacity, so just go on the right panel, lower the opacity of the top layer so the base color underneath still comes through. Then create a compound clip, so just right click and compound clip so we can apply a mask. Add a split mask and feather it completely. We're going to animate this. Place your playhead at the beginning of the clip and set a rotation mask keyframe. Move your playhead to the end of the clip and rotate the mask as many times as you like. The more full rotation you create, the faster the animation will film. If you want something subtle and smooth, rotate it once or twice. Or you can just type in 360. And just like that, you already have movement. But let's not stop here. Add a third shape. This time don't use a rectangle, use a circle one or a custom shape tool and draw a soft organic form. Give it a lighter tone and adjust the opacity so it blends naturally. Increase its size so it slightly exits the frame. There you go. That makes it feel less rigid and more designed. Now we'll animate this layer. Go to the beginning of the timeline and set a position keyframe. Move to the end and shift it slightly in one direction. Nothing dramatic, just a subtle drift. Apply a graph preset like ease so the motion feels smooth rather than linear. Add another circle and repeat the process, but move it in a different direction. This creates layered parallax. When you play it back, the background feels alive but calm. It's not aggressively spinning, it's gently breathing. Now you have a modern motion background built entirely from shapes. You can add more layers, or you can simplify it, or even remove the floating shapes and keep just the rotating mask. Now let's build a clean subscribe notification from scratch. This is the kind of small UI detail you often see in professional videos. We're going to build one from the ground up using shapes so you understand how it works and can customize it however you like. Start by adding a rectangle shape. Stretch it into a horizontal panel, not full screen, just enough to feel like a floating notification. Go straight to corner radius and soften the edges. Every modern UI rarely uses sharp corners, so make sure you always soften the edges. Set the base color to brand and reduce the opacity slightly so it doesn't feel heavy. We could add a stroke directly here, but we'll build it on a separate layer instead. You will see in a minute why. Duplicate the rectangle and move the duplicate underneath. This will be our stroke layer. So turn off fill and turn on stroke. Change the stroke color to a darker red and set the size to 1 or 2 depending on your preference. I'll just leave it at 2. Now create a compound clip from this stroke layer and watch this. Go to effects and add a glow to effect to the compound clip. Boom. Adjust the glow slightly and you'll instantly go from a flat UI panel to something sleek and modern. The base is starting to feel intentional. Now let's build a circle. So add a new layer, this time a circle one. Hold shift while resizing so it stays perfectly round. Make it smaller and position it at the beginning of the rectangle panel. Use the color picker to match it with the main red tone of the UI. Now duplicate this circle, turn off fill, enable stroke and set the stroke to the same dark red as before. Set the size to 1 or 2 and create a compound clip again and go to effects and add a glow to this layer as well. Adjust the glow slightly so it matches the panel. Now the base structure is complete. Highlight all these layers and create a compound clip so we can animate everything together later. Okay, so let's fill this in. You could use built-in stickers, but they often don't match your colors or style. So instead, we're going to generate a simple gray bell, a red bell, and a white cursor on a green screen. And we're going to do this with ChatGPT. So you just go into ChatGPT and at the prompt, just create a gray bell on a green screen. Once you have them ready, add them to your timeline. We'll animate them shortly. Next, add the subscribe text. Create a text layer and type subscribe. Choose a bold, clean font. Reduce the letter spacing slightly and set the color to white. Duplicate this layer and add a D at the end so it says subscribed. Change this second layer to red and place it underneath the first one, just like that. Perfect. Now, go to your main UI compound clip. Since it's already grouped, we can mask it. Add a film strip mask and rotate it 90 degrees so it's vertical. There you go. Add a little feather to soften the edges. Place your playhead at the beginning and add a size keyframe. Set it to 0 so the panel is fully closed. Move forward a few frames and open the mask. Just like that. This creates the second keyframe automatically. Change the preset from linear to ease in so the opening feels smooth. Perfect. Now let's animate the text. Start the subscribe text animation right when the base finishes. Add keyframes for position and opacity. Set opacity to 0 and move the Y position up around -200. Move forward about 10 frames and bring opacity back to 100 and Y position back to 0. Apply a quad preset. Perfect. Now, when the subscribe animation ends, animate the gray bell the same way. Add a position and opacity keyframes. Start at opacity 0 and Y position at -200. Move forward about 10 frames and bring it back to normal. Boom. That's done. Perfect. Now the cursor and the click. When the gray bell animation finishes, animate the cursor. Add position and opacity keyframes. Start with opacity at 0. Move forward about 20 frames. Set opacity to 100 and move the cursor onto the bell. Apply quad in. Perfect. To create the click effect, move forward 10 frames and add a scale keyframe. Reduce the scale by about 5 to 10%. Move forward another 10 frames and return it to normal. When that finishes, place the red bell and turn off the gray bell. Perfect. Add white line stickers above the red bell to stimulate this click impact. So you just go to stickers and just type in white lines, and this one will pop up, and bring it into the timeline. Resize it, position them naturally. Perfect. Then duplicate to the other side. Apply a shape effect to the red bell. So go to effect and shake. Set the strength to 10 and the speed to 10 as well. Trim the effect so it stops right after the click. Perfect. At the moment the click starts, bring in the subscribe text. Go back to the white subscribe layer. Create a compound clip and add a split mask and rotate it by 90 degrees. Add feather. At the start of the word, add a position keyframe, move forwards to the end of the click animation and slide the split mask across. Just like that, and apply a quad in, as always. Now create a compound clip for the red subscribe text as well. Add a split mask, rotated -90 degrees. Add a position keyframe at the beginning and then move forward to the end of the animation and slide the mask across, and again apply quad in. Trim the white text at the end so it doesn't show underneath. Perfect. And the final touch, add a whoosh sound where the base opens and a mouse click sound where the cursor presses. There you go, just like that, and that's it. It's done. Now let's watch it back. Let's say you're making a documentary about a treasure island. You've got a map on screen and you want to clearly show the path leading to the treasure. You can do that with shapes. Right, so start by dropping a custom shape onto the map. Begin placing your points to draw the path. For now, don't worry too much about the curves, just focus on mapping out the direction. Once the path is complete, zoom in slightly so you can see it better. You'll see the small control points right here where the line connect. Grab those and adjust the curves until the path feels natural. There's no exact settings here, it's purely visual. Move the handles until it looks right to you. Now refine the style. You can switch the stroke to a dotted line if you want a classic treasure map feel, or for something clearer, adjust the caps. Add a rounded start point and an arrow at the end so the direction is obvious. Once you're happy with the shape and the curves, create a compound clip. Now we're going to animate it. Go to mask and add a split mask. Feather it a bit so the reveal isn't harsh. Rotate the mask so it aligns with the direction of your path. At the beginning of the clip, add a position keyframe for the mask. Just like that. Then move your playhead forward and gradually move the mask along the path. Continue adding keyframes until you reach the end of the line. And finally, apply a curve preset to smooth the animation. And just like that, the path reveals itself across the map. Let's watch it back. Next, let's create a countdown clock. This is a great way to add tension or timing to your videos. It looks advanced, but it's actually very simple once you break it down. We'll use shapes, masks, and smooth animations to create a clean circular timer effect. Let's hop into CapCut. Start by adding a circle shape to your timeline. Turn off the fill and enable stroke instead. Set the stroke to around 30. This will be the outer base of the clock. Choose a color for it, for example red. Duplicate that circle and change its color to something different like yellow. This gives us 2 circular layers to work with. Now, add a text layer and stretch it to 5 seconds. Perfect. Make sure both circle shapes are also exactly 5 seconds long, so everything stays aligned. Cut the text layer into 5 equal sections, 1 second each. Change the font to something digital or modern, for example, a 𝗙𝗏𝗡. Then set the color to orange or whatever you like. Now let's animate it. Select all layers and create a compound clip. Then highlight all the text layers separately and create a compound clip from them as well. Just like that. Perfect. Now go to the top circle layer and add a split mask. Add a little feather to soften the edge. Move to the beginning of the clip and rotate the mask to 90 degrees and add a position keyframe. Now go to the end of the clip and change the position value to 1000. If you want the animation to move faster, increase that number. If you want it to rotate in the opposite direction, set it to -1000. For the final touch, go to Effect and apply Glow 2 to each layer, just like that. There you go. And the very final touch is the ticking sound effect. Let's just grab that to the timeline. Brilliant. Let's cut it here. Excellent. Let's play it back. This animation was inspired by the opening of the Apple TV series The Morning Show. It's not the same, of course. The real intro runs for about 1 minute and 40 seconds and is far more complex. I just took inspiration from the first 10 seconds and recreated a very simplified version using shapes inside CapCut. And of course, I changed the music. We're not trying to deal with any copyright issues on YouTube. This is just about the visual style and rhythm. Okay, let's build it in CapCut. First, drop your music onto the timeline. We're editing to the beats, so click on the music layer and select Beats 2. Just right here. Beats 2, perfect. Add a circle shape, choose a strong yellow and scale it up to 200%. Duplicate this layer twice and change the colors of the duplicates. Now you have 3 circles stacked underneath each other. Excellent. Let's animate them. Select all 3 layers and move them off screen together, and then add a position keyframe to each one individually at the beginning. Move your playhead to the first beat and bring all 3 circles back to the center. Apply the 𝐲𝐮 preset to each so the motion feels smooth. Perfect. Now move to the next beat and pull 2 circles outwards, leaving 1 in the center. Move 1 beat ahead again and add a scale keyframe to all 3 layers. Then move forward and reduce the scale of all 3 to 50. Apply 𝐲𝐮 again. Now duplicate all 3 circles, delete their keyframes and place the duplicates 1 beat ahead as a fresh starting point. Add a position keyframe to each of the new layers. Move 1 beat forward and position the 3 new circles next to the previous 3, so you now have 6 dots in a row. Excellent. And apply 𝐲𝐮. Move 1 beat ahead and cut all 6 layers. Create a compound clip so the 6 dots becomes 1 grouped layer. Duplicate this compound clip 4 times, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and arrange the lines across the screen so they evenly fill the frame. Now animate each line moving out of the screen. Add a position keyframe at the beginning of each line, 1 beat before the final beat. Add another keyframe and move each line out of frame. Send some to the left and some to the right so the motion feels dynamic. Brilliant. Apply 𝐸𝐮 to all keyframes. And finally, the text. Add a text layer and type your message. style it however you like, font, color, size, shadows. Place it one beat before the final beat, add a scale keyframe and set it to 0. Move to the final frame and scale it back to 100. And the final touch, apply a quad in preset. Excellent. Now play it back. And there you have it. You've gone from basic rectangles and circles to motion backgrounds, UI pop-ups, animated a treasure map path, countdown clock, and we even built a beat sync outro inspired by a high-end TV intro. We've covered how these shapes actually behave, how to use masks to reveal them, how to layer them for depth, and how to animate them with proper easing so they feel intentional instead of random. Now, don't try to recreate everything at once. Pick one. Maybe it's the treasure path, or maybe it's the high-end TV intro. Build it in your own style, because the only way this sticks is if you actually open CapCut and use it. If this tutorial helped you see shapes differently, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown. And do me a favor, drop a comment below and let me know what you want me to deep dive into next. Now go create something incredible, and I'll see you in the next one.